See here, wait for some people to get on. What's up, Phil? What's up, man? So I had it set up to go on the other thing, and I don't know how to turn the live on actually. So when I schedule it, I don't even know how to turn it on. So hopefully everybody jumps over. What's up, everybody? All right, so now we got some people rolling in. Working. What you working on, Phil? Randy's on here. Randy, I figured you'd be asleep. Daniel, I honestly was about to cancel. I was laying in bed and I was not feeling it, man. I was like, how about we skip and redo it for Sunday? And I laid there for a little while. Some plumbing, I hear you. I laid there for a little while and I was like, let's just go ahead and stick to the schedule. Almost. Randy, them Fords at work have busted my butt. Me and Eddie swapped frames, swapped the cab, and swapped motors in 9.5 hours. We're not completely done, but it's all back, or the cab and motor frame is together. Just got to put the front end on it. I looked it up out of curiosity on Google, and it said to do a frame swap average on a truck, it could take 2 weeks to 2.5 weeks. And I was like, holy crap, we did the bulk of it in 9.5 hours. So we'll see if some other people jump in here. If anybody had any questions to catch up on, on 40 mechanical. Wow. Yeah, it said 2.5 weeks on Google. If you Google how long does it take to swap a frame, Google responds 2 to 2.5 weeks. Randy, so I'm guessing insurance pays 40 mechanical on average. That's crazy. We're at 9.5 and we have everything swapped over. All we got left is literally the front stack, the radiator and all that. Dude, Daniel, I'm beyond tired. I wasn't about to do it. But all we got left is the front half, like fenders, all that. And then, oh man, $14,000. I'm $14,000 in two F-150s. So I told Eddie that we're swapping frames. He's gonna have to suck it up. That's the first time we've ever swapped frames. But when you're $14,000 in two F-150s, and you paid like $7,300 for one that was hit a little harder than it should be, which I'm gonna show in the video I'm gonna edit tonight. It's actually pretty interesting. The videos, Donald. I'm tired. So the wheels and tires, the front ones are 17s, the back ones are 15s. And then these are actually on there now. These are John's. So they should be 28s. 28 10.5s on the rear. And then the fronts, I think the fronts are like 26s. I think. Donald, I was about to edit one last night, but then I decided not to because I knew I was going to go live tonight. So when I get off of here, I'm gonna edit a work week one that's gonna show these F-150s that we're swapping, and have that up for Friday night. It's been crazy. And the videos, we ain't got much. Monday night and Tuesday night, I worked on this to make sure that I wasn't missing anything on it. Let's see here. To make sure that we weren't missing anything on it, and I had to order some parts, and did not work on it Wednesday night. Got on John's live chat for a few while Randy was asleep. And then tonight doing this, and then tomorrow I'll work on it some. I was gonna order an engine diaper for it, so I looked up the engine diaper, and they're like, what are they, 300 and something, 400 something for the Coyotes, like Motion Race Sports makes them and everything. And so I come out here and I laid down and started looking underneath the car, and I started thinking about having to put an engine diaper up underneath the car. Show mod, that mirror looks pretty good. Thanks, Daniel. And I was like, man, I'm the one that has to put this stupid diaper under here and then take it off to work on it. I was like, it's not happening. I'm not putting a diaper on this car. I'm not doing it. So we're gonna build a belly pan. We're gonna build a giant belly pan of aluminum that's gonna cover all the way to the transmission pan, all the way to under the radiator, and then the full width of wider than the whole motor. So from A-arm to A-arm. Have I been practicing doing burnouts in the shop? Like I mentioned, no. The car has been right here on blocks nonstop. The video that I'm going to release for tomorrow, you'll see what's been going on at the shop. And I am beat. So this car hasn't left the house since it come home on Sunday. But I think I do want to do the burnouts at the shop. I got to get with somebody. I don't have to have anybody. Manufacture the wheels. The rear ones are billet specialties, and the front ones are RCs. Pretty sure. Hammers. I think they're hammers. It was like 2.5 years ago when I got them wheels. 2 years. Pretty sure they're RC hammers. If you type in hammer front runners, they'll probably pull right up. Will the belly pan be as good as the diaper? So most people run belly pan. Like all high-end cars that I have seen pretty much run the belly pans. I could be completely wrong, but like most very high-end chassis builds, it's all belly pans built into it. Randy, I was actually going to tell you that me and you need to just link up on one of these off days, like on a Sunday or something, and take it to the shop. Like either, I don't know about this Sunday. I'm supposed to get Emmy this Sunday. So let's see here. I think John had nothing for next Saturday and then testing on Sunday. So maybe put it in a trailer on Friday, maybe do some burnouts on Saturday, and then maybe take it to the track on Sunday. So that answers the next question that just popped up. The next test and tune is supposed to be Fayetteville on the 19th is what John is saying. So that gives me this weekend and next week. So a lot of people don't know that when they were commenting on the videos, well, if you watched, I did release a video, but the car is actually unsafe to even be at the track. So a lot of people's like been commenting like go, 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 go. But like we still have that front radiator hose in here with the AN fittings screwed onto it. And that's completely unacceptable and unsafe for the track. Donald, Michael's actually very rarely at the shop. He's actually not there. Eddie works for me hourly. So Eddie works for me hourly, so he's there all the time on my clock. And Michael does his own thing. Michael is his own entity. And Michael's not physically there that often. He's doing his own thing. But yeah, the next test session should be next Sunday if everything goes smooth and Mr. John does not get tied up or something changes. So let's see here. Yeah, so boosted, they do make the universal ones. But the belly pans, I mean, I don't know. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong in that video whenever I do it, but I'm telling you, all the chassis cars, it's just a big pan. Normally you do it like a couple of inches, walls all the way around the edge. So the whole point is that if it throws a rod or if it blows up, that obviously it runs all down in there and it fills up the belly pan. So I remember Bloodbath YouTube, they actually had, I think they were testing at 710 and the transmission blew out fluid and he had I could be completely wrong, but I know it filled up like all the belly pan. Like the pan that was underneath it, it filled up the pan and there was like no fluid on the track at all because Thunder Valley or 710 in one of his videos because of the belly pan. So that's what I'm gonna do, because you could just, I'm either gonna Zeus it on or have nut certs where it just goes on and then it comes off, or if you have to work on it. I don't know. I just don't want to fight with the straps. And my engine, I don't know if y'all pay, if it shows in the videos, but it's really tight. Like, it's really hard to work on. I am not going to Turbo John's backwards brawl. It is simply too far. So I have 3 daughters. Some people don't know that on the channel. Harper is our little one, so she's on the channel like all the time. Like, and then I have one with my ex, and then I have my stepdaughter. So I actually have 3 daughters. So being away from the house for that long, it's just, I don't know, it's a lot. It's a lot on anybody. So I actually normally don't make it if it's past 3 hours. As the farthest I went to go racing, that was with Randy's up at Piedmont. But if it's more than 3 hours there, 3 hours back, 6-hour round trip out of my weekend away from the kids and the family, I don't know, I just simply can't do it right now, or don't do it, because you don't get these years back with your kids. And to be on the road for more than 6 hours is just, it's rough. Fayetteville open again. So I don't know exactly what's going on with Fayetteville. John said that somebody else is leasing it, or the owner of the circle track and everything is opening it all up. But all I do know for sure is that right now, every single Sunday, they're doing like test and tunes in Fayetteville and like some bracket racing. So Mike, Dad just kind of tags along whenever he can. He's got like 1 more year that he's working before he actually retires, and then he is pretty much, he come to work for me for a couple months in between jobs, and he's retiring. Like, this is his last year working, and then he's just gonna tag along. So he'll probably be at a lot of the races and stuff like that to help. It was a tremendous help having him, because basically John's already so busy, so I try to make sure I can film for John or help John in any way possible. But it was nice having Dad there to just help keep my stuff straightened up. And then that way, as soon as I got done, like Harold's fixing my stuff, I could just kind of leave it alone and then jump on filming with John. And Dad actually cleaned up all the tools and put all the tools up and everything. So I come home and actually told my wife, I was like, it was a tremendous help having Dad there just to keep my stuff straightened up and cleaned up. Even though, if you notice the in-car footage at the very end on the GoPro, Dad's like, he's like OCD, and he was like wanting that GoPro turned off. He was like, don't we need to turn the GoPro off? How do we turn the GoPro off? Like, he's the one that went in the car and like took it out of the car and turned it off. So that's why it was like all of a sudden cut, because he was worried about that battery dying and wanted that GoPro off. They do have engine diapers. And for the Coyote, Motion Raceworks actually sells the engine diapers. It's just, like I said, man, between my headers and everything, it's, I don't know if I'm interested in any more crap packed into that freaking engine bay. This pollen down here has been killing me, so y'all gotta bear with me. I figure we might have some more questions, because seems like everybody wants to know stuff in the comment section, and then it's hard to reply or type out, even though I respond to everybody. And there was actually some questions on John's videos too. Keith, you're good. You haven't really missed anything. So, but I figured I'd hop on here, and if there ain't no questions or not a lot of people on here, I'm gonna take my butt to bed. Just trying to make sure I ain't missed nothing. And the universal diapers might be perfectly fine. From what I have seen, like on John's car, from me being underneath John's car, the only thing I'd worry about is the back side of the motor. I wouldn't really care about the side of the motor or anything like that. It's just getting that diaper, if it gets into the transmission area up in there, the flex plate and all that, that's what I'd be worried about. Randy updates, that's between Randy and John. I'm not putting any of that stuff out, but as soon as he gets done with what he's doing, we're supposed to be putting the paint on it. So I know Randy's doing what he's doing to it now. Supposedly the steps are like what he's got going on, and then it'll come to us for paint. and then it'll go to John, and Randy and John will put it all together, and it should be good. But as far as time frame and updates, I don't have any of that information. Yeah, reconsider the blanket or the pan. We're definitely gonna do a pan. What do I think the car will run once we get to the power level we want? Honestly, I have no clue. I know that when I originally put the car together, everybody said that car would run mid-fives easy. And that's just what everybody was telling me, because y'all know now, Randy just said 2 weeks for paint. So I guess we got about 2 weeks left until we're gonna be painting his, which is, I'm ready to rock and roll, at least, if not more. So everybody said that my car will run mid-fives super easy when it's put together. I'm uneducated in that stuff, so I don't know. But John busted a 590 straight off the trailer with the big pulley, so I imagine it will easily be. Let's see here. Randy said 480s. I mean, definitely be in the fives all day long. So if Randy thinks 480s, once we get the pulley changed, then they know a lot more than me. Let's see here. Phil, we're hitting the track on the 19th, Fayetteville. Testing supposed to be. Helmet hooks, where did you get them from? Boosted, I actually bought the Hans device I bought actually come with the helmet hooks. They screw into the side of the helmet. So when I bought the helmet, I made sure I bought a helmet that had, it's basically nutserts that go right in the side of your helmet, and them hooks screw into it, if that's what you're talking about for Hans device. If you're talking about the helmet hooks in the car, on the cage, if you type in on eBay helmet hook, and I think change your search results to lowest first, cheapest first, you'll find them for like $18. I actually did a video on them. There's a veteran-owned company that 3D prints them out of plastic. So the 3D printed plastic, like $18 each, is a veteran-owned company. So that's the helmet hooks in the car. If you're talking about the Hans helmet hooks on the side, they come with the Hans device. Like Mike said in the comments, he's been busy doing his own thing. That's what I said. Like, Mike's got his own stuff going on. Let's see here. Do I have a good brake pedal? John did not complain about the brake pedal. I'm not happy with the brake pedal. So I have a to-do list on my phone that's, you have to flip the screen once. I actually knocked some off that were just not needed. I was tired of looking at a long list, so I went through the other night and deleted some that just weren't needed. But the brake pedal, it is on the list to re-bleed the brakes. I need like probably Eddie's help or something maybe at the shop. So the wife will sit out here and help me all the time. She'll pump the brakes 100 times, but I feel bad for her. And so once I get it good enough, I'm just like, all right, that's good enough. Let's be done with it, you know. But Eddie, if we had it, the next time we have it at shop or so, I'll put that boy in there pumping for an hour. But we do need to, I want to bleed the brakes one more time. The pedal's fine. It stops. It doesn't feel unsafe. It doesn't worry me or nothing at all. I just think that I can improve on the pedal, and I'm not 100% happy where it's at. The car already has a line lock in it also. That's all plumbed in. Everything's good to go. It just literally needs the wires hooked up. That's something that we decided to hold off on during wiring, and that's something that I probably want to put back just in case, or I want to make the wiring connections. But besides that, the brake pedal feels fine. And if you recall in the videos, a lot of people were concerned about all of the braided lines that are in this car. I got rid of 50% of the braided lines. So all the fronts that go from left to right, they're all hard lines when we just redid everything. Yeah, Phil, the belly pan, if the rods leave the block and it goes through the pan, then yeah, I mean, I can't argue with that. The diaper, they're definitely strong. You know, I mean, I don't know. That's just, I don't know what I really don't have an answer for that. Besides, I guess it's just gambling. So I don't want to put oil on the track. I care, it sounds bad, but I actually care less about my safety than I do inconveniencing others. I care about my safety, obviously I have family, But main reason why I wanted to do it and I wanted to make sure that it works and make sure that it's safe is because I don't want to be that guy that oils the track down. So that's my biggest concern. But like I said, I just don't want to deal with the headaches of the diaper. I don't think, and it's like $400 freaking dollars. So the belly pan would be built out of aluminum. So it'd be aluminum sheet, not super thick, but thick enough, I'd hope, across the bottom, you know. And I don't know if the rods on the Coyote, if you look up the Coyote diaper, because I read up on it, researched the other night, the rods on the Coyote normally tend to come out sideways. So if you read up, they say that they have more covering on the Coyote diapers on the side of it because the rods tend to go out that way than straight down. So if a rod went out, hopefully it would just leave left filled, and then the oil would hopefully, most of it would go straight down to the pan, is theory. But again, I don't know. Y'all done see me make so many mistakes and learn as I go. Let's see here. Yeah, Eric, the light situation in the car for sure. Testing it during the day will be a whole lot easier to see what you're doing. And then me and John talked about putting LED accent lights. He was talking about like all these cars, it'd be nice to have. But just like in my wife's Tahoe, all the door handles, the footwell, everything has really, really dim LEDs that you don't notice. But if you look at your feet or you look at the door, like where the handle is, it's actually lit up. But it's so dim that your brain doesn't process that it's even really lit up unless you look. So I told him it'd be really easy to tie in an LED little indicator light off of the electric panel up top. Just pull it off the power off the switch because the LED uses no voltage at all. And put one underneath the shifter. So it's on my list to do, but I have to be careful of how much stuff I do like that, because then everybody's gonna be tearing me a new one in the comments to take it back to the racetrack and stop installing LED lighting in my car to just freaking race it already. So it's always a balance between giving people what they want and then making sure the car is good to go. But I hope to get some test sessions in during the day so we can just eliminate all of this seeing issue. The biggest thing for me is seeing in the car at Harold's, and Randy laughed at me if you watched the live or if you watched the GoPro, is I was second guessing myself what gear it's in, because you don't realize if you never made a pass that in your car, your truck, when you jump in it, you if you second guess what gear you're in, or if it is in gear, you look at the dash. And so that's just since you're 16, 15 years old, or if you started driving before that, you're programmed to look at the dash to see what gear it's in. And so my brain just kept going to the dash, and you don't see no indicator up there, which John said he thinks there is a way to wire in the Holly where you can put what gear you're in on the dash. And so then my eyes went down to the shifter, and I couldn't see the numbers on the side where it said 3, 2, or 1. And so then I kind of panicked, and that's when I motioned for Randy like this and opened the door. While Randy was responding, actually walking towards me, I'm already trying to figure out the problem myself. And that's when I could see the little pin in because the side plates of the shifter are black. So you can see the little chrome pin, and I realized that I was in the middle of the little pathway, I guess you can say, which told me I was in second gear. So I was perfectly fine. It's just again, it goes back to I don't want to inconvenience others, and I'm just sitting there waiting. And that's the reason why I kind of was like freaking out. But the lights, definitely, doing it during the daytime would be way better. Nitro Junkie, thank you. It's definitely been a long road. I wish I would have started YouTube back whenever we first started this car, because it's been 5 years. So, but this car was never supposed to be to this level, and I've tried to share it as much as I can without boring everybody on YouTube. Let's see here. Yeah, Daniel, definitely everybody told me that I took a big jump, but this is how I look at it. So if you've never been in a car and you jump in a 10-second car or 9-second car or whatever, that's what you're learning. So you're learning what a 10 or a 9 feels like. It's just like if you go to an amusement park and jump on a roller coaster and you've never been on roller coasters. I don't think an adult would jump on a kiddie roller coaster. I think they might go for something not super crazy, but they would still go on a bigger roller coaster. So my whole theory, as this thing grew, and I actually told John this exactly with the tire situation. He said, well, you might want to get used to radials on a radial track. And I said, but in my head, I actually deleted this out of one of my videos. I said, if you don't know anything, and I told Randy too, you might as well go ahead and learn what you're going to use. So if I get used to radials just being glued and what the car feels like on radials, Then when you go to put slicks on and you go to a no prep or whatever, then you have to completely learn it all over. You have to learn how the car feels on slicks and all that. I have picked up that much. The people that come from radial, you know, have to learn what it kind of feels like. I understand that radial will get you the feeling of the car and learn the car, but my theory was just kind of go for it, I guess, send it, and just learn what I'm gonna learn right out the gate. Yeah, boosted. So just look it up on YouTube, man, on the hooks. Let's see here. You're welcome on the wheels and tires. Nitro Junkie, yes, the diaper. I agree 100% that the diaper keeps you from running in your own motor oil. I 100% agree it. But if you're ever at the track near here or whatever, I'll gladly show you. It is stupid tight. And like I said, I'm gonna try to belly pan. I'm not saying I won't put a diaper on it. I'm just trying to avoid it. Have I put any scratches on the car that I am mad about? Absolutely not. So Harper has actually, I wiped it off. She colored all over the car with sidewalk chalk, like all over the front end, pink sidewalk chalk, and I just let her do it. She comes out here and sticks screwdrivers and bolts in every hole that the car has, practically. So she shoves them in everything, and she takes wrenches to stuff on the car. I don't know how to say this without sounding bad. I don't care about that paint. I'm a painter. That's not any high-end paint or anything like that. It wasn't super expensive. And it's just another paint job to me. My dad actually come over the other week and he was like, what is this like 10-inch long scratch across your trunk lid? I was like, I don't know. I probably threw something across it and scratched it. So no, I don't care about the paint. Like a lot of people don't know, like this wheel well right here. I took a hammer to it. When I originally built a handful of years ago when I was fitting the wheels, and I actually straight up just sledgehammered the lips out, and there's about 1/4 of an inch all the way around the top of that wheel well where the paint's cracking. So like you could take your fingernail and we could pop off like 1/4 inch of paint, but I just leave it alone because I don't want to have to fix it. So I'm not as careful with the car as most people would think I would be. Let's see here. Nitro Junkie. What have I found about the car that I don't like about the car? Everything. So if it wasn't for y'all, I've told 100 people y'all are the only reason why I have not sawed the whole back out of this car. Because if it wasn't for y'all, last weekend or the weekend before I went racing, I would have took a saw to the whole back of this car, and I want to cut this thing from where the main hoop is all the way to the trunk and throw every bit of it in a scrap pile. So I don't like none of it. I don't like the square tubing in the back of the car. It's a 1/2 inch off on one side than the other. So when I set the suspension up, one of the shocks, let's see here, is one hole up. I covered it in my video than the other side. So I can't stand that mentally, knowing that they're just not the same. Car goes straight. John showed that the car went straight. But if it wasn't for y'all, I'd cut the whole back half out of the car, and I'd cut the whole freaking front off the car right now. I would take it, the fenders off and the motors out it, and I'd take a saw right at the rails, and I'd cut the whole freaking front end off of the car because I hate the Mustang 2 front end. John likes it. When he come over to the house and I showed him the travel, he said this is amazing because the Mustang 2, since it's double A armed, the spindle moves, it stays, you know, up and down like this. Whereas I want to go like Fox body style struts because they make kits for the Maverick that you can do that. But then you have to deal with, as it drops, the wheels folding out like that. So he was like, I'd stick with this. I don't know where that's going to take us. But this coming winter, we will either be cutting the whole front end off of this car or we're cutting the whole rear end out of this car. One or the other is getting cut out. I hate the wheel tubs. They're not big enough. I kept them little so I could fit a back seat in the car, and then plans changed. But yes, I want to cut 50% of the car apart if you want to know what I don't like about the car. Definitely just needs seat time. Michael, yeah. You got to make your YouTube viewers happy. You can't just play with LEDs and cut the car apart. Mike, do I have a video of my trailer? I have all of the building my trailer videos. So my trailer has a whole series if you weren't a part of the channel at that time. My trailer started out as a $450 IAA totaled trailer. If you go to my playlist, there's a whole playlist on it. What's in the trailer now, I don't have a video because I'm still trying to figure it out. That trailer's not fully stocked, but I have been paying attention to Randy and what he doesn't like. I've been paying attention to John. I've been paying attention to what John struggles with. I've been paying attention to what Randy struggles with and what both of them struggle with at the track with their trailers. A lot of times I'll jot it down when I see them struggling with something in my phone so that I can hopefully fix that issue before I struggle with it also. So I'm a big person to take cheat notes. Also, if I'm watching other people's videos on YouTube, I have tons of notes in my phone all the time. That's a little secret about me, is when I see something, I'll take cheat notes so I can't remember it. And then when I'm working on my project, I'll make sure I do that so I don't have that same issue. Chris, thanks. Yeah, on the first pass, I was just hoping I wanted to do something different that other YouTubers don't do. So other YouTubers, they say first pass, their first pass or whatever, and it's not their first pass. They've been racing since they were little or whatever. It's very, I feel like I've closed in a niche where there's not a ton of people that build a decently faster car, and then it's their true first pass. And so when I started the YouTube channel, I wanted to teach people how to do all the painting and everything that I know how to do, but also wanted to carry people along with the whole journey as we progress over the next few years, because we're just going to keep growing. And I wanted to be more transparent than any YouTuber on the internet. So if anybody knows a YouTuber that's more transparent than me, I love to know them, because I'm set out to be the most transparent YouTuber with racing that there is. That's why I even tell y'all about credit cards. Everything, man. I'm trying to put everything out there. If you're gonna be a bear, be a grizzly bear. Donald, yeah, I'm not interested in a manual transmission on a hill. I'm good on that. Boosted, I probably did touch on that in another video. Daniel, yep. Mike, if you bring the saw blades, everybody's going to be extremely mad. I have saw blades. I have saw blades on deck. And I would enjoy, I think I would enjoy, like Randy knows me, I would enjoy cutting this car apart more than going back to the track again. I absolutely enjoyed the track. I'm actually looking forward to going on Sunday. But dude, the joy it would bring to freaking take a saw to this car right now is just, it's a whole another level. James, the red one, I think it's too far gone. I was gonna build the red Maverick that everybody has on the channel, but I think we're actually gonna cut that car through the windshield and through the center of the doors, and I'm gonna keep the front half because I love to cut the front end off of that car and put it on this car. If I'm gonna go back factory front suspension, that way I just have everything exactly in spec and then recut out what I don't need. So everything will go back exactly how it was from the factory. And then I want to cut the back frame rails out of the red Maverick. And when I cut the back half out of this car, I want to put a little bit of factory frame rails back in this car in the rear, so I can have bragging rights that it's a factory rails all the way from the front to the back. And then I will build a 4-link around the skeleton of the factory frame rails, if that's possible. So the red car is going to be a donor car. It's probably never going to get built. If I build another car, I'll actually tell you all this. I've never said anything on this channel. My friends know. But once we can get this car running, and once we can get this car financially paid for, because y'all know that it's been an up and down 10,000 at a time struggle. And once we can get this car where it's mostly paid for and it doesn't need a bunch of changes or money, I'm going to try to purchase a 2-door Maserati. So I want to do a Maserati coupe, and we're going to cut the living crap out of that thing and build a drag car out of a Maserati. And we'll probably go, unfortunately, with like a LS in that. I might stay Coyote because I already have a bunch of Coyote parts. So financially, it probably makes sense to put a Coyote in a Maserati. But being it's a Maserati and you don't need to stay true to brand, because nobody's building a Maserati engine unless you're a millionaire, I'd probably just throw a LS in it, man. And just a TKM built LS, not just a junkyard LS. But I don't know. It'd make more sense to stay Coyote if I get this thing ironed out, because then I could just swap motors back and forth. But I don't think we're going to build the red car. I can't see myself being entertained enough building the exact car that I already have. Like, I have some visions of things I could do different with this one, but not much. I've pretty much done everything custom that I kind of want to do with this car besides all the fiberglass stuff. So I really want to either build a Maserati or I'm going to build a Malibu, like a two-door Malibu. I just had somebody text me, said a LS. Somebody was watching the live chat and didn't want to comment. Yeah, because I mean, if I did a Maserati, what motor are you gonna put in a Hemi? Like I said, you could throw the Coyote in it because I already have Coyotes. And if the Coyote is ironed out and it's just smooth as can be and it's giving me no issues, then we'll throw a Coyote in a Maserati. And we'll just, I want to be the only person out there that has like a Maserati. Because I know through IAA, everything that I have taught y'all, I know we could purchase the Maserati for free. Just about if I score the correct. So if you watch all my videos, I teach you how to get motors for free and how to, you could do it opposite. So instead of getting the motor for free, you can get the car for free. But you got to make the correct purchase of the correct type of damaged car so that you have enough to recoup the money and end up with the roller for free. And a Maserati is already a lot of aluminum. I owned one Maserati a couple years back, and it was a little bit older, but it's already, like, everything's already aluminum and lightweight. So I think it'd be a good start. The Godzilla 7.3. I have been trying to get a 7.3 for over a year now. They're on my, let's see here. They're on my watch list on IAA. So Randy just texted me something. I'll have to look at it, Randy, when I get off here. But I'm trying to get the 7.3. It's just finances right now. We got to pay for this one that's in there. Let's see here. Exactly why I entered event this weekend. Let's see here. Build the Maverick the way I want it. Donald, like I said, the Comet is pretty much built how I would do the Maverick. I can tell you there's one Maverick out there that if I get my hands on it, it's on. And that's Bobby's old Maverick. Nikki and them have it right now. They wrecked it at Rockingham, and she's on my Facebook, and they have it. I've told her twice that if you want to get rid of that Maverick and you don't want to repair it, please hit me up, because that's the car that made me fall in love with these cars. And if I could get my hands on Bobby's old car, he has said numerous times that that car is a piece of junk and that it's welded all together, and he's not wrong. It has been chopped up and welded all together multiple times when he had the car. He actually showed one video on Facebook that's extremely hard to find, that his Maverick was front halved. So they basically cut the whole front of his Maverick off and put another front end on it and just welded it all together underneath the car. And he showed all of that in a live video, but a lot of people don't know about that video. But boy, if I could get my hands on that black Maverick, I promise you that I would bring that Maverick back to life, and it would be, I would make the baddest looking Maverick. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna be the fastest, but the baddest looking Maverick in the US is what I would do, is the toughest looking one, I guess you could say. I would love to do that. Get down, start gapping. Chris, I appreciate it, man. It's gonna be a minute probably before we start gapping people, but I'm a fast learner, so I honestly hope we roll pretty fast. Let's see here. Mike, I'm not going turbo. So only reason why I'm not going turbo is because everybody is turboed. Doing YouTube, you got to stand out. You got to be different. There is plenty of turboed Mavericks out there. And so that is the truth behind the reason why I did not go turbo. And the truth behind the reason why I went Procharger is because Procharger started to take off with like Street Outlaws and MPK. And honestly, it's the hashtag. So when I do my YouTube, I'm an entrepreneur and a business owner, and a lot of people ask, how do I do YouTube? You got to treat it like a business, okay? So it's got to be a unique niche that other people are not already doing. So I like to do the, number one, it's a Comet, so it's not a Maverick. So that narrows down my niche. I'm the only, I would say, decent looking Comet out there that I have seen. I'm not tooting my own horn. It's just there's not a lot of them at all. There's some pretty sweet looking Mavericks. I got 2 people on my Facebook that have really nice Mavericks. But then to put a Coyote in it also, and not an LS turbo is honestly reason why I do it. And I did want to stay Ford. I didn't want to. I'm big with the bandwagon stuff. So if a lot of people do something, it turns me off, and I go completely opposite. So if a lot of people everybody started going crazy over, I guess, Coyotes, and we had as many Coyotes as there are LS, I don't know what I would do. But I got to stay where I'm just different. I got to be different. Let's see here. Chris, yes, Malibu would be amazing. Two-door Malibu. Don't do it, Godzilla. Dude, I'm telling you, the Godzilla, Mike, you know it. I have had them things on my watch list for over a year. The Godzillas are tough. I'll tell y'all right now, to get a Godzilla IAA wreck truck, $10,000 up. It don't matter if it's demolished. It don't matter if it's rolled over 10 times. If it's got a Godzilla in it, 7.3 gas, 10,000 and up. Right now, IAA all day long. You can get a turnkey, I think a pallet Godzilla, like on a pallet, I think around 10K right there. So you'd be, in my opinion, you'd be stupid to buy a brand new Godzilla to build a race motor out of on a pallet when you could buy the whole truck, you know, for 10,000 and then have the part out, because the part out's what is important, because then you get your stuff back and you're tearing the motor apart and sending it to TKM anyway, or I am. So why do I want to buy new? I personally want the highest miles Godzilla I can find, and I would love to get one that's completely smoked in the rear end, so you have the whole front end part out, because the part outs, the front end is where the money's at. The bed is $1,500 to $2,500, and then you're done on the back side of the truck. Tailgate's $500 or so, but the front end is where the money's at in the part outs. So you need to get that one. My channel, my YouTube channel has been monetized since 1,000 subscribers. So on YouTube, when you get, I don't know why people don't talk about this stuff. It's like everybody's scared to. You can literally Google it. It's public information. When a channel hits 1,000 subscribers and they have met a couple other requirements, the other two requirements are super easy, but it's 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours total. So it's a rolling 365. So to stay monetized, we have to maintain 4,000 and up watch hours per 365 days. So it's not like a calendar year. It's every single day. Your current day moves one more day back. And during that 365, all the time, you've got to maintain 4,000 watch hours, 1,000 subscribers, and a couple other things that are easy. So any channel that's doing that can be monetized. Like it's, you know, that mine got monetized, I want to say 4 or 5 months after we put it together, and I owe that 100% to Randy's car. That channel would have never, this channel would not have took off as quick as it did as if I wouldn't have jumped on and filmed all the stuff we did on Randy's car, and pump out that content as fast as I did. I did it on purpose. I just was pumping content to try to get that channel to take off. And then it was still really slow from 1,000 to 2,000 subscribers. And then it started rolling a little more. And now that we've up to 3,000 and up subscribers, the ball kind of starts rolling a little more. YouTube's making money off of me with ads. So when you start getting more subscribers, they start pushing the channel harder. So these guys that can jump up and get a lot of subscribers, YouTube is working with you. You're partners with YouTube. Actually, they can fire you at any time. They can literally just cut you off if they're not happy with what you're doing. They push your channel harder if you're making them money. So the more ads and how all that stuff works. And I don't know why other YouTubers don't talk about this. I've had people come up to me at the racetrack and ask me questions and literally say they've asked other YouTubers, and for some reason they just keep it like secretive. But like there's Facebook groups on YouTube and or Facebook groups for YouTubers and all that, and it's not secretive information. So I don't know why people don't talk about monetization. Boosted, I like the fact that I stuck with a Ford engine. I don't know why so many people hate it, dude. I mean, the Coyote, I think also if you jump on the Coyote now, I think all of us guys that are running Coyotes we're on the front side of the LS bandwagon. So when the LS took off, there had to be one person do it, and then 2, and then 3, and then it started rolling. The ball started rolling. And I think the Coyote has now been, I mean, you gotta remember the Coyote first come out in 2010 or 2011. So we're already over 10 years, 10, 14 years old on this motor already. They're gonna start hitting the junkyard now. And so people it's gonna start really taking off. So if you can jump on the Coyote now, and catch that wave before it actually takes off really fast, then I don't know, I just kind of like to be ahead of the curve. I mean, that's how it is with business too, is if you can see that curve and grab it before everybody else does, because eventually it's going to be old news. So you kind of want to jump on before it takes off. I look at everything like a business, if y'all haven't caught on to that. So everything is entrepreneur business, everything, no matter what it is. It's got to make sense. Boosted, that's the same as me. Dude, so many people joke with me and they're like, dude, you could have already been racing for 2 or 3 years if you would have went LS. It wouldn't be as expensive as this Coyote, but I enjoyed the build, so I don't care. It took, you know, the time. Eric, so the t-shirts, t-shirts have been out for over a year. They are underneath the videos down there. Teespring, I'm doing it through Teespring, but we don't have like any real, I guess you can say, like normal racer tees, like really high end stuff right now, because a lot of times, like when racers do t-shirts, I don't know how many people talk about it, they have to normally buy or lock into like 100 or plus. So they have to take their money and they purchase 100 or something, or they lock in, or they pre-sell them. And then you're stuck with all that inventory out, or all that money. And then if you don't sell t-shirts, then you're just sitting all that inventory. I have sold very few. There's a couple people that buy, you know, a lot of stuff, but I have sold very few t-shirts. And so with the money that we're in the hole on this car right now to go make t-shirts, actual like racer t-shirts, you know, we hire a company, financially wouldn't make sense at all right now. So I work with Teespring, and what I do is I design my own t-shirts, and they basically, if you go buy one, then they make that one t-shirt you bought off of my design that I sold on there, and then they take their cut for making the t-shirt, and then they ship it straight from Teespring to you. So I never hold the shirts. I never touch the shirts. I never hold the shirts. I don't have to have an inventory. I don't have no money out. And then I just get a certain percentage off of each t-shirt. And then whenever I want to cash out that account, they basically just direct deposit what I've made off t-shirts in my account. So that's the whole answer to t-shirts. I've had a couple people ask that. It's a money thing. It's a money thing. Until you know that you have a big enough support to do actual racer style t-shirts, I guess, because the t-shirts I sell now, they're professional. I actually buy every single product that I put out. So all my t-shirts I have bought, and I wear them to work, and they get absolutely put through the ringers with paint thinners and grease and dirt, rolling around on the shop floor, and all of the vinyl stays on them. Nothing comes off. You know, they're good t-shirts. It's just the graphic design, I guess you can say, is my graphic design, and I'm not a professional, so I get it. You know, the reason why we probably haven't sold a lot, but it's the finance thing with the t-shirts. Let's see here. T-shirts. Phil, I appreciate it. Boosted to Jay-Z stuff. I hear about it all the time, but I don't pay attention to none of that stuff. So yeah, the money with the t-shirts, I mean, it depends on what you can sell them for, man. You know, if you buy bulk, if you're a racer and you can buy 1,000 shirts, then you're obviously going to get a discount and you'll make more money per shirt. That's common sense. But like for us small guys, if we're having to lock in 100 shirts or 1,000 shirts, probably 100 is probably going to be your smallest order with certain companies, then yeah, you're paying more per unit. And if you're a small racer, you're paying more per unit. You got to sell your stuff cheaper because you're not some big giant racer, and yeah, you don't make money on like that. So it don't make sense for me to hold the product. Nitro, I am doing Randy's paint and body work unless he fires me. So as of right now, we have a unwritten, unspoken contract that I'm doing his paint work unless he fires me in the next week or two. Before that, we'll get it back. He had talked about making some other changes. I don't know what all we're going to be painting on his. He had originally a list of stuff that we were going to be changing on that car. And then I know that the car's been down for so long now that I'm pretty sure Randy is ready to get this thing back to the track. I know he still wants to do things to the car, but I don't know 100% yet what all we're doing. I know that we're fixing crash related, firewall Ford, but everything else that he is changing, I don't know when or if he is, or if he has scratched him ideas or whatnot, but we will be handling all of the paint work and putting every single run in that car that's going to go in there. I'm putting all the runs in that thing. I'm putting runs in it everywhere. And Randy better not give me no bullcrap, more high solids, harder to spray stuff, because he done broke me on the first one with that hard to spray high solid stuff. And now this time I know what he's going to do is he'll hand me some more complicated, even harder stuff to spray. And I'm going to be wet sanding and buffing my butt off. This time we're going to be wet sanding and buffing the tubes on the front end probably. Hopefully this time, I'm glad it's going to Jason. Jason's so thought ahead out, and Randy, all the problems y'all seen on John's channel the first time, they had to keep going in and cutting stuff and changing stuff and adding stuff. And like we did the touch up video where we touched his car up, but then they made a couple more changes. And so the nice thing is this time he kind of had the first outing with the car. Hopefully this time it's all sorted out. We can paint that whole front end one time and put some tube protectors on it maybe, and then be good to go. Hopefully we won't have to go back in there. Yeah, exactly. $175 for design fee on the t-shirts, and then generally it's 50 shirts minimum. So exactly, and then whatever you're going to pay for 50 shirts. So $175 on top of buying the product. Man, it's hard to make your money back on that unless you buy a bunch. Mike, so wrapping a car is extremely expensive. Way more expensive than this. I can paint this whole car for $300 or less. That's base coat, clear coat. That's Omni 270. That's a production clear. The base coat on this car is a little bit more expensive. Yeah, I'd say 300 solid. It's a little more expensive for the base coat on this car, but we can use the VAP seal. So we can paint everything with $15 a quart VAP seal. So that's black sealer. I don't know if when I painted the car originally, I wasn't doing YouTube, but you can paint everything with $15 a quart black VAP seal. I can make this whole car black on sealer with 1 gallon. When you buy at my supplier, when you buy 3 quarts of VAP seal, financially, you pretty much get the fourth for free. So you get a gallon of black sealer for about $75. I can pretty much make this whole car inside out, jams everything black with 1 gallon of sealer, and I'm pretty freaking confident that we're gonna have sealer left over. Once you do your sealer, then your base coat, since I already have black sealer down, all I'm doing is laying a black base coat down with the pearls in it. So I'm just giving it the red pearls. A lot of people will say that sealer won't hold up to the sun. My paint supplier actually told me not to paint with sealer because I'm pretty sure that they know that what I would do is paint a whole car with black sealer because it's only $15 a quart. And they told me that I can't do that, that it will fade in the sun. So me and Eddie went and painted a window regulator with black sealer, and then we clear coated it and then we put it behind the shop, and it stayed behind the shop for over 1.5 years and never faded. So they don't want me to know that it don't fade, but your sealer or your base coat of your sealer has no UV protections pretty much. It's all in your clear coat. So it don't matter what you paint with, but that's the reason why the wraps are expensive, dude. So since we can paint this whole car with $300 from my car, I can't speak on Randy's. You're not doing Randy's level for $300 material wise. But my level, I can do this with $300 all day long material. So since I do it myself, it would make no sense. I mean, dude, I don't even know how much a wrap would be. And then you'd have, this car was puke green. So I don't know if y'all caught that on some of the very deep inside parts of the car during filming. But you would then have the door jambs puke green, or you'd have to spray paint the door jambs black or whatever color you're going and wrap it. That's it. Now the high-end racers, they wrap cars because of weight. So a lot of people don't know that. Swanstrom talked about it in one of his videos. He actually broke it down. We have let's say you put a gallon of primer on here, a gallon of sealer, a gallon of base coat, and a gallon of clear. Let's just say that. Y'all know how much a gallon can of paint weighs, like you've picked up house paint. So imagine how heavy 4 gallons of material is. Even if you go down to 2 gallons, now pick up a roll of wrap. So the high-end race cars, they actually wrap their cars for weight. It cuts weight. It doesn't cut, I guess it might cut material cost, but to wrap a car, you have to do all the body work, all the primer work. You have to wet sand all the primer. You have to have the car as straight as glass with all your body work. So you have to do all the body work, whether you wrap or paint. But then they go with the wrap because they're skipping the base coat, clear coat, sealers, and all that weight, and it weighs less. But if you pay in a shop to do it, you could be getting close. But if you find a shop like me, and if you want a straight out the gun job, no cut, no buff, and you bring the car already worked, you actually should be able to get a paint job for about the same price as what a wrap will cost. So next week I will go ahead and tell y'all, coming up on the channel, we're gonna be doing a Falcon. So we're gonna paint a Falcon. I'm gonna show y'all how we're doing it. The customer is bringing us the car completely prepped. So it was a friend's friend. It's a friend of a friend job. But he's completely prepped the car. And so all we're doing is we're taking it in, we're taping and shooting, and I'm gonna go over that whole entire job. And if y'all did something like that, I'll tell you the price that the customer's paying in the video next week, but you'll see that the price that this customer's paying to do jams and everything on the outside of a car is beyond fair for me. It's no cut, no buff, straight out the gun. But if he was to price around on doing the wrap plus making the door jams match, he's gonna be the same or go over. And then with the wrap, if you mess it up, you gotta peel it off on whatever area that is, whereas the paint, you can just fix it. So that's a little bit about the wrap versus the paint. That's why. So yeah, it says right there in the comment, Boosted said $3,000 to $4,000 wrap in the car. You bring a car to me, prep for paint, ready to go, jams the whole freaking car, is gonna run you about $3,000. So right there, why would you not just do the prep work yourself, bring me the car, and let me just shoot it, tape and shoot it, and middle of the grade products, I mean, we get you out the door for about $3,000. And I can turn that out super fast. Like, I can turn, you know, if you're prepped, all I gotta do is tape and shoot. I can turn that out pretty freaking fast. Let's see here. Scratch and dent special. With Randy's car. Donald, Randy's car is gonna get a scratch and dent special, all right? He'll kill me, man. I'm more scared to work on Randy's car at the track or mess with Randy's car than I am my car. It's opposite, because then when Randy and all them get around me, they're afraid to mess my car up or whatever, and I don't care about my paint or nothing. But Randy's car, man, like, I feel like I'm walking on eggshells around that thing. How many coats of clear did you spray on that car? So on this car, it was literally 4 years ago, about 3.5 to 4 years ago when I painted this car. I believe there is 4 or 5. I think there's 5 coats on this car. I think 5 coats of clear. It's the most clear I've ever put on any job that I've ever done. But we cut a whole coat off. So wet sand and a buff, and you can count that you're going to take a coat off. So pretty sure I put 5 coats on it, cut 1 off, and so the car has 4 coats of clear, I think, left on it. Or it was 4 coats and there's 3 left. So I can't remember 100% if I laid 5, cut 1, or if I laid 4 and cut 1. But normally on a higher paying Honda Civic job, a daily driver job, I'll put 3 coats of clear on it. On Randy's car, we'll put 4 or 5 coats on it. I think his car last time, I think we did about the same as mine. It was either 4 or 5 coats, and then we cut 1 off. But he used way higher quality clear than I have. You can put too many coats on, where then you start having issues with being too thick and wanting to crack and cause problems. So they actually make tools that you can measure the mil thickness of the clear coat. It's not happening in my shop. I'm not measuring a freaking mil thickness. So I've put some really nasty thick stuff on flip cars. But yeah, that's how many coats are on the car, is either 3 or 4 is what's left. Yeah, Eric, leaving off the trans brake. I wish that I could do the video. I wish I could get the GoPro where it was like in my face, like John's like a helmet cam. That'd be pretty pretty unique. But we definitely got to work up. We definitely got to work up to it. Yeah, Ford Tech, it's a weight thing with the wraps. Nitro Junkie paint weighs more than wrap. That's why the big guys don't do it. Boosted, that's exactly the reason why NASCAR does wraps. It's weight. Like I was looking last night. I get bored and I type in, if you go on eBay, I'm going to tell y'all this and then y'all going to screw me over and all the deals are going to be gone. So if you go on eBay and you type in NASCAR, go to your search results and change your category. Make sure you're in eBay Motors, and then change your filters to used. You can see all kind of used NASCAR stuff. But if you'll type in, do also NASCAR carbon fiber, dude, they make everything out of carbon fiber. Like it's some of the coolest stuff you'll see on there used out of carbon fiber, like all kinds of pieces. And my brain's always on there working, how can I cut a cheap piece of carbon fiber up off of NASCAR to utilize it on my car, just for the cool factor or the weight factor. But there's some cool stuff on there that and it's all because of weight with NASCAR, also wraps and that. Mike, would single stage be lighter? I don't think single stage would be lighter. Single stage is a pretty heavy paint. When you're spraying it, it kind of gravity wants to pull it down more. And you're gonna lay, for a decent single stage job, you're gonna lay 3 coats of single stage. So your base coat and your sealer is pretty thin when it sprays on there. It's not really thick. So you might save a little bit with single stage. If you did this level of job versus if you did a single stage race car with 2 coats of single stage only, I'm gonna say that the single stage 2 coat job is gonna weigh less than all of the material that's on this car, plus the body filler that's on this car, which is not a lot actually. This car is extremely straight. There's more dolphin glaze, like putties, on this car than body filler. There's like barely any body filler on this car at all. But the 2 coat single stage job I think would weigh less. Ford Tech, no, this car is not a wrap, if that's what you were asking. This car is base coat, clear coat. Let's see here. Make sure I ain't missed nothing. Yeah, Ford Tech, you make the clear thick, but like I said, if you put it too thick, you can have issues. Newhart, thank you. What cam did you go with? So my cams, man, I've got the specs somewhere. They're way over my head. Actually, the t-shirts, L&M Race Engines. If you look them up on Facebook or Google, L&M Race Engine did the custom cams. So before Randy twisted my arm and made me go to TKM, the car was actually at another local machine shop. And I changed plans. And so then talking to Randy and the owners of Carolina Dyno locally, they kind of told me that we need to get this thing to TKM, that we think TKM could really get the ball rolling and line this out. The other local machine shop, he does all of our normal mechanic work. It's just this one started getting a little higher than what anybody in Wilmington almost, it seems like, they can do. So that we went to TKM, but before I took it to TKM, I had already knew about L&M race engines off of just being in forums and being on Facebooks, and they're like one of the leaders, I would say. I mean, somebody's probably going to argue with that, but in the Coyote stuff, they make really good stuff. And so I called L&M, spoke with the gentleman, told him exactly what we were going for at that time. It was actually spec'd on, I think, a D1X blower, because that's when I originally was going to buy that blower, a smaller one. And he spec'd on the heavy side though, so we'd still be good for growth. But he custom spec'd, the cams are custom. He did the lockouts, like their in-house brand, custom cut. And then they did all the pistons. So all the pistons, all the internals are spec'd at L&M Race Engines. TKM does all the machine work and all the assembly. If I build another Coyote though, TKM will be doing 100% all the cams, all the pistons. TKM will be doing everything to keep it all in-house. When we blew it up this past time, if y'all remember from that video, I had to call L&M, order a piston, and then go with it. I think the piston was like 300. TKM said they could replace all the pistons for like 15, 1800, somewhere in there. And I decided to cut costs to stick with L&M on the pistons, and I didn't want to just sell off 7 or replace it, sell it off. But L&M does all of my cams and everything. So I'd have to, if somebody was interested, I could show the specs on the cams that are on the boxes, but like it's not like there's a part number where you can order it up, because it's all custom spec'd to basically what I told the guy and what I wanted. Let's see here. Ford Tech, you definitely need to get your Fox painted. Everybody needs to get their Fox painted. Phil, absolutely nobody took me up on the race car paint job, which is mind-blowing, because I was offering to paint your whole race car, I think for $800 to $1,200 at that time to pay off the TKM build. Now I have way too much going on at the shop. You hit me up for $800 all over, or $1,200 all over, that was single stage. That was a scuff and spray single stage. I won't do it now for that same price. But yeah, nobody come through on the $800 to $1,200 race car paint job. So that's their loss. I mean, I put the offer out there. Nobody jumped on it. That's what it is. I mean, but that is a scuff and spray, very, very cheap single stage. So some people just don't want to put that on their car. But like if you were considering spray paint, or if you couldn't afford any paint, then that would have been the way to go. But if you can afford a decent job, then I don't know. Single stage is also a good get by way. So if you can't afford a lot, you can single stage your car right now and it will preserve the car. You can race it, tear it up, and then that lays a protective foundation for then later where you run into some money or you save money up. A shop can go and sand that single stage down and a good foundation to work on top of, and then actually paint your car correctly. So I don't knock single stage at all. Donald, we did 5 on Randy's car, so I cannot believe that you remember that information. You are absolutely freaking amazing on your knowledge on this channel, like how much you pay attention to. It's crazy. Ford Tech, I am absolutely addicted to eBay. I run my whole business off eBay, pretty much, like a lot of parts we buy, and then this whole race car. So my life revolves around eBay all the time, every day. Just click and buy. So Nitro Junkie, if you were doing a $30,000 paint job, the coats of clear would depend on the product. So the nicer the product of clear is, then the less you need to put on it. And the crappier it is, I guess, the more you need to put on it. But you got to remember that you got the mil thickness. So any product is in the tech sheet or the data sheet. It should tell you how many mils they want. If you go past that amount of mils, you're running into product failure or product problems. So you'll hear, it's absolutely cringy, but you'll see people on Facebook or YouTube bragging about like 10 coats of clear and all this. Dude, just ignore that crap, because it's half of the time it's not true, or they put 3 or 4 coats on it, wet sanded it really aggressively, and then flow coated it, which I've taught y'all what flow coating is on the channel, is where you take the clear coat and then you over reduce it, and it flows out like freaking water. It runs easy, but it lays right out like no orange peel. But then you're cutting your clear in half or 25% of it out with freaking reducer. So that's not really a full coat of clear. So if you're flow coating, you can't really count that as a full coat. So it's never the amount of coats as much as the product, you know. So like Omni 270 that I spray right there, I probably wouldn't go past 5 coats of clear. You probably might run into issues. I mean, 6 might be okay, I don't know. But like I said, if you're laying 5 or 6, you're cutting 1 or 2 back off. So then you can brag all you want about it, but you're taking product back off, and then you're in your correct mil thickness per se. So Mike, the chrome look on a car, for me, there's a lot of mixed information on the chrome paint. A lot of it's DIY crap that don't work worth the crap for paint, but a lot of people just wrap their car. So you can wrap a car with chrome, like chrome wrap, chrome sticker. So a lot of the cars that look like chrome, or they're like gold chrome, normally 9 out of 10 times, or 99 out of 100, they're going to be, it's going to be wrapped. So I think there's a couple things out there that people have inquired about paint work on rims, and they wanted me to paint their rims chrome, and I try to explain to people that there's no chrome paint, but then people tend to send links or send other products that are out on the market nowadays that there is chrome paint. But the whole deal there is that chrome is not paint. So chrome is actually a liquid, and then the metal is dipped into it, and then there's a whole nother process over my head that it cools and hardens, and that creates chrome plating. That's the reason why you can peel chrome off when it fails, is because it's actual plated. It's not painted on. So if a car looks like chrome, it's probably going to be wrapped, more than likely. Let's see here. All right, boosted. He's probably already gone, but I appreciate it. Ford Tech, I am in Wilmington, North Carolina. So you're in California. I think you're I-40. If you jump on I-40 in California, I think it says Wilmington. How many miles there are to Wilmington, that's where we're at. So if you jump on I-40 and you travel till it runs out, that's where we are. Like I am an overhead shot straight through. I'm like, man, I'm probably just a couple minutes from the end of I-40. So I'm completely on the other side of the U.S. from California. I'm at the other end of California, or other end of I-40. Let's see here. Andrew, 30% off. Yeah. Yeah, if they're not painting the front clip, but then if they want to paint all the tube work, that's sometimes that's more difficult than just painting the front clip. And yes, Tater, I am a big, I do not like front ends being off the cars at the no prep stuff. I do not like it at all. But y'all, hopefully y'all have learned me now that I'm more show than go, even though we're trying to build the go. But even if I've got the slowest car there, I want it to look good. That's just how I am. So I do not like the no front ends at all. I understand the reason behind the no front ends, but I wish that everybody ran the front end so that it would look like a freaking car. But I get it for the speed. I get it for the purpose side of things. Scott's in Darlington. Yeah, that's not. Darlington is like 2 hours and 20 minutes, I think, to the racetrack from my house. Blanton is out of here. Michael, I have not sprayed PPG liquid metal. I normally stay as far away from any new or high-end products as possible. Most all of my work is very low-end stuff, besides once in a blue moon, like Randy's car, the blue Fox body we did on the channel. You know, that stuff is a little more high-end. Randy's car was probably... That's definitely the most high-end car I've ever done, as far as how much the products cost, how the quality of material. I've never used better quality or more expensive materials than on Randy's car. That is on my resume, that's at the top. Just because normally I avoid it. So if anybody else came up to me and was like, they wanted what Randy got, I wouldn't do it for any other customer. Now, if it was a fellow racer, possibly, but financially right now, we would not be able to paint a car to Randy's car's level because it wouldn't make sense on the numbers side of my business. It would not make sense at all. Yes, Donald, electroplated. Yeah, so that's chrome, but it's not paint. That's what I try to tell everybody, is that you don't pour chrome in a paint gun and spray it. That's not how your bumpers on your truck is done. Black chrome. I'm not sure on legit black chrome at all. I might have showed it on the channel, but like my tail lights, the Comet tail lights, they have chrome trim around them, and then the plus sign like through the cross through the actual tail light. We did black chrome on this car. So the tail lights, the housing, I rebuilt the housing, like every piece of it. I have pictures of them, but the housing is satin black, like the tail light panel. The wing covers it all up now, unfortunately. The lenses are tinted with black, and then the chrome, original chrome pieces are painted black chrome. So the same way we smoked the taillights, we basically scuffed up all the chrome, and then we tinted the chrome using a black clear mix on the taillights. So if you get really close, which you'd have to be under my wing now, unfortunately, to see it, The taillights actually have black chrome on them. So, and I was gonna do the door handles black chrome, but I figured they would probably chip off with handling them. But that's one thing with the red Maverick, that I want to get them door handles off of that car and powder coat them door handles like satin black to put on this car. But that's the real black chrome. I don't know how it's done. Ford Tech, you make it farther than me, because like I said at the beginning of this chat, if it's past 3 hours, I ain't really trying to go. So I don't ever take vacations. I don't travel, nothing. The wife wants to travel all over the world. Maybe one day I'll be rich with a private jet and can just fly her every weekend anywhere she wants to go. Yeah, I don't go past like 3 hours, man. I think I've been to Florida 2 or 3 times in my adult life, which is like 12 to 14 hours. We went and picked up a truck in Virginia, me and Eddie. That was like, I want to say like 6 or 8 hours there, 6 or 8 hours back. But yeah, that's getting too far for me. That's too much road time. Yeah, Nitro Junkie Randy's car is it's extremely nice. So I remember the people were commenting on the videos that we would never get them doors straight. That being they were carbon doors and fiberglass doors. That them doors were going to be wavy. That you weren't going to get them straight. You were going to still see stuff. And I laughed and told Randy, I was like, watch. We're about to get your car freaking straight as glass. And we did a ton of blocking work on that. But there's not, on his doors, there's like no filler hardly. I think there's dolphin glaze on the doors, maybe a skim coat of filler, like around the door handles. I think the door handles are all dolphin glaze. But there's no like real body filler on Randy's. It's all, it was blocked before we put any primer on it. So that kind of cheats. You can block it and before you get started, so you got a semi-flat surface, and then I think we did really thick primer and blocked it, and I think we painted it. I don't think we primed it twice. I don't think. We might have primed it twice. The blue Fox body that we did on the channel, we also did, I know we sanded it, prepped it before, fixed all the dents and dings, and then we, let's see here, what did we do? We put a thick coat of primer on it and blocked that thing straight too, and that thing turned out freaking amazing. Like, but his request was not to take it as high as Randy's job, but his job even turned out pretty freaking straight. I think the only issue we had on the blue car that I went over on the channel was some in the roof where something had been sat on top of it, or you know, the roof is dented. And the problem with your hoods and your roofs is that when you dent them things, it's not like the door where it's just like a baseball size dent. If it goes in, if the dent goes in 1/16 of an inch, it might spread out, you know, a foot or so. So I explained to him that you just don't want that much filler. You don't want a foot wide or 2 foot wide of filler on the roof of a car that's gonna be baking in the sun and the metal expanding and contracting, because it's gonna crack and fail in the future. So you'd be better with a little bit of gradualness, you know, but I mean, the Fox body roofs already have some curve to them a little bit. But his, I think we did the same exact way. Percy's paint is tore up. I encourage everybody. A lot of people will look at it track and not touch it out of respect, but there are the 2 times that I've had it there. And I tell people, I'm like, if you look at it, man, it's nuts how tore up it is. It really is. It needs to be buffed really good. Mike, Randy's car did love the wall. It made love to the wall. So let's see here. Does anybody else have any questions? Dude. Tater, this car has got so much freaking pollen in it. So one bad thing about the exhaust, and I filmed for y'all this past week the exhaust situation, and then I deleted every bit of the footage. So I filmed like 20 minutes worth of exhaust explaining, and then I threw every bit of it in the trash can. Because when I'm editing a video, if I'm bored with it, first off, it goes straight in the trash can or it gets cut out. And it was some talking, but what I did was I showed how big don't even have the pipe in here again. The mufflers for this car would have to be, they have to be 5-inch, because the pipes are 4 inches, and I have been instructed to do not take this exhaust below 4 inches, because that will choke it back. Like, don't do it. TKM and Jason Braswell that built headers, do not put any exhaust on this car that's under 4 inches. But with the way the headers are, it blows the dirt and the pollen slam up, man. You open the trunk up, like when I opened it up when I got home, and everything is just coated with green inside the trunk. Everything needs to be wiped down. All the interior needs to be wiped down. It's got grass all in it. It needs to be vacuumed. We'll test it at Fayetteville, and then once the pollen season is done, I'll go through and wipe the whole freaking car out and clean the inside out of it and everything. I'm gonna vacuum it before it goes to Fayetteville. You know, wipe down some of the interior, but I'll deep clean it probably once the pollen moves out here. But it's crazy, the pollen. Yeah, it's nuts here, man. Let's see here. So yeah, if nobody else has any questions, I just wanted to jump on here to make sure we have gained. The last time I went live, I look back today, was when we were at the shop and me and Mike were rushing to get the suspension welded into the car, and that was the last time we've been live. Like, so we've gained probably 1,000 subscribers and more since then. So I figured I would open up this opportunity tonight to just catch up anybody that had a question or anything. You know, you comment stuff and then we can comment back and forth, but it's not as good as me actually explaining stuff. So that's the only reason why I wanted to do this tonight, in case anybody was out of the loop or anybody had any, you know, anything they wanted answered. Make sure I didn't miss anything. I think I got everybody's comments on here. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't think I missed anybody's comments. Nitro Junkie, I greatly appreciate it. I greatly appreciate all of y'all. And Ford Tech, it's a Ford and it's staying a Ford. It is never going anything but a Ford. 8-foot burnout. Dude, the burnout situation, man, it's just different. When you're in a car for the first time, like, you can go out there and take your normal vehicle and just hold your gas pedal to the floor, and it's going to spin up at full RPMs and not blow up. Everything will be perfectly fine. But that one, like, I don't know what would happen, but I know that everybody has told me to do not go in it and push the pedal all the way to the floor, because there's no rev limiters on it, and just hold it there. Like, don't do that. Like, it might be good footage for YouTube, but I have been instructed not to do that. So it was actually a little bit more kind of, the burnout didn't scare me, but I'm always scared of, like, messing up, I guess. And yeah, I didn't give it enough throttle. So that's the reason why I said, Randy said earlier on the channel that me and him will work on the burnouts probably next Saturday, is what I'm thinking it's looking like, is before we go to the track. Is we'll take it to the shop. It'll already be in the trailer, and we'll move all the cars out the way so I don't destroy my business, and pour some water down and just work on actually, you know, figuring the burnout and making sure I have the burnout under control before we go Sunday, and then it'll be fresh on my head. It's like anything else. Once you do it a couple times, you're perfectly fine. And if y'all notice in that video, the directions, Randy telling me to go like this, and I got it backwards, it's because I'm extremely good at backing trailers. Like, anybody knows me, like, I'm extremely good at backing trailers. Everybody compliments me on that. Not tooting my own horn, but I was forced by a previous boss to learn how to back a double axle enclosed trailer for the business I was doing. And when the guys at the shop or anybody tells me to go this way or this way with a trailer, I automatically turn the wheel opposite, because that's how you back a trailer. If y'all race, you know how to back a trailer probably. And so when Randy was telling me to, like, do like this, I was, like, purposely, like, doing opposite to make the front end, like, go the direction he's pointing. And I didn't realize that he was telling me which way to turn my steering wheel. And that's a question that I wondered about for the last months. It's just I hadn't asked nobody at the track. I didn't even think about it. When you're at the racetrack, you don't think about it. And then when I was put in that situation, I was like, crap, I never asked to make sure I understood which way the hand directions mean. So it's going to be tough on me to not think of backing a trailer. But I know it's like anything else. You get used to it. And now I know that whichever way he's telling me is the way I need to take my hand and turn the steering wheel and not worry about which way the car is going. It's just to follow his simple directions on which way to turn the freaking steering wheel. Pro after 10 minutes. Randy, let's hope so. But now if you stand in front of my truck and tell me to go this way with a trailer or whatever, I'm on it. I'm on point. Like, I can back the piss out of a trailer. Yeah, I don't think anything over 8,000 RPMs would be good on that car. And I got wind. Who was it? Turbo Monza last night on John's live chat said that Miss Maverick and Tony was actually talking about this car in their live chat, like the road trip video that they did. It's like 2 hours long. They were talking about the car, and they said, let's see here, I skimmed it the other night and found some pieces. They were talking about how they thought, I think the blower was a P1X. Like they had all good to say about the car. But they weren't sure on the blower size, and they thought it was a P1X. And I think that's smaller than what's on there. What's on there is an F1A 94. But yeah, they didn't know what blower size it was. I thought that was unique last night. I didn't even know they were talking about my car, but somebody had asked them if they had seen my Comet, and I guess they have caught wind of it through social media or either YouTube. And she said that it was the best Comet that she's ever seen in her life. So that was kind of cool to be recognized by them, because she's been doing the Maverick stuff for freaking years and years and years. Yeah, they are really good good peeps. Yeah, Nitro, the correction. So when they tell you to like go like this, I notice sometimes when I'm watching, so I'm always trying to learn and pay attention. So I see people do like this on in-car footage, and I pay attention to what the driver is doing. And sometimes like the driver doesn't even move the wheel. And it's like the guy will be giving directions like this, and the driver's like not even moving. And then the driver will go, or the guy giving directions will go on something else. So yeah, it's like obviously like not even barely moving. But it's just like anything else. The more you do it, once I do it a couple times, it'll be good. And what would be good working with Randy is we will be able to do the burnout at the shop and try to learn the burnout. And then what he can do is he can back me back up into the burnout. And so then I'll go ahead and be killing two birds at one stone. And I can learn the backup and get that down pat, and I can learn the burnout. So we can literally just go forward and backwards, and get that figured out so that when we go to the track, hopefully I'll have that down pat, and then we can actually focus on making a pass. Now I was talking to another guy in the comments yesterday, and it said it took him multiple, I think he said like 8 or 10 times before he could even go the 1/8 of a mile when he started out racing. He started out in about a 5-second car. So, and he said that he would start to make the pass, and he would basically chicken foot it and just let off the throttle, because his brain, I guess, even though you're like, well, I'm not scared of this, it's like second nature kind of kicks in and tells you to let go of the throttle. It's so crazy, because that's what happened to me is when I went to accelerate. First off, it's all a blur now, but my foot just come off the gas, and you could hear that, and I literally thought like, whoa, what are you doing? Like, you're not scared, like why are you letting off the gas? And then I got back in it, and then like it let off again, and so then I was just done, because that's gonna take seat time to get used to that. 10,000 subs for mentioning Miss Maverick. I wish, man, I wish it was that easy. It's not. I'm surprised her channel doesn't have more than it has, honestly. But she's been doing it for so long. I mean, and they're a good channel. They have really good quality videos. We're related, yeah, Maverick family. So the Maverick, it's funny because I have people on Facebook that have been like, this week the thing is that people's been sending me the Mavericks that were found in the cave, or a picture of a bunch of Mavericks stored in a cave. I can't remember where it's at. But I actually seen that picture like 2 years ago. So there's a couple of Facebook groups that we're in, and there's only a handful of big Maverick Facebook groups, and we all know of each other. So like Kendall, he has a really freaking nice Maverick, but it's like a drag and drive car. So it's not like, it don't sit way down. It's a Coyote, it's a twin turbo Coyote, but it's more like a restoration. So it's an extremely nice car, but it's not all like drag raced out. So it's a drag and drive car, but it's not all slammed with some big wing on it and everything like that. So somebody had said something to him on one of the Facebook groups that, uh-oh, Courtney's coming for you, you know, when I finally made my first pass. And like he said, like, we're two different monsters, man. Like his is a drag and drive, you know, it's not on like, it's not laid down as low. It's not wings. Like, we're just two different people. His car is just restored gorgeously, twin turbo Coyote, drag and drive stuff. Whereas mine, I want it to be where you can street drive it to work or dinner, but it's not. It was supposed to be the restoration level that his is at, but it's not. But yeah, the Maverick community, if you're in the Maverick community, everybody knows about Miss Maverick, and everybody kind of knows each other. You know, everybody kind of learns of all the other Mavericks that's out there, for sure. Mike, the wife. The wife wants to go, but Harper Joe is extremely bad. So she didn't make like none of the videos, but mentally it was extremely hard with Harper at the track at Harold's because she's just a tornado wide open the whole entire time. And she just wanted to go here, and then she wanted to pet the puppies, and then she's just all over the place. And my wife was just like, I've had enough with her. I'm taking her home. I'm done with it. So we're hoping that as Harper gets older, she will be able to stay with the grandparents more, not drive them crazy, and then the wife will be able to just go to the track. Or, you know, Harper can go to the track with us as she gets older also. Nitro Junkie, the finish line's at. So that was one of my biggest thoughts and actually concerns, is I actually asked at Harold's. I said, so how do I know where the finish line's at? And I know that there's a cone there. I know there's a box there. I've been down the track with John's golf cart, pushing cars back. I've seen it, you know, at the big end. I know it's there, but like I didn't know like if you actually see it. And then somebody else said that at some tracks, you can actually see the beam like reflecting off the track, like across it. But the first time I made a pass, I was so like, well, they didn't have no beam, but I was so like just blacked out almost, like just there's so much to take in that you don't pay attention to none of that. But yeah, I was definitely, my biggest concern is worried that I won't know where the finish line's at, and I'll hold it in too far past the finish line, and then you're running out of track way too fast. But I know that we're going to creep up to it, so I'll know where the finish line's at before I ever even hold it to the finish line, so it shouldn't be an issue. It's just it's in your head when you've never done it. Look at John on here. But that's the things that a lot of guys don't even think about, like, is something as simple as knowing where the finish line is, because so many people are just used to it. Let's see here. Tater, John might have a kitchen sink in there if you dig in the cabinets enough. He has a lot of stuff. I can put a Ford on a wheelbarrow and you will fall. Okay, we're definitely going to stay Ford. We're definitely going to stay Ford with this car. This car will never, ever, ever, ever be anything but a Coyote, probably. Because when I blew it up the first time, I actually messaged some guys at TKM, and I was like, how about if we just sell all the blowed up Coyote crap and go just small block Ford like Randy's or something, and just completely different? And they were like, no. They were like, because you can't use a factory block for the power level that you want. They were like, so your mistake is expensive. It was a $9,000 mistake when I blew it up. We showed all that on the channel. But they were like, to sell all that and then build a traditional small block Ford, you're gonna have to buy aftermarket block, all that. At least we have factory block, factory crank, factory heads. So that saves you some money, I guess, versus going really nice traditional small block Ford. But so because of finances, like, yeah, this car will literally always be Ford Coyote probably, unless it was to go like Godzilla, because I think the Godzilla footprint is extremely close to the Coyote on size-wise. So we might switch to something like that. And I'd like to switch to the Godzilla just because of the push rods. So I think in the Godzilla you're very early, like we were talking about earlier, getting on that wave. The Godzilla is starting to take off. I'm in a lot of groups. I'm trying to pay attention to what's going on in Godzilla world while I'm doing this. But I'm so far behind on knowledge with this that I don't want to pay too much attention to that. But I love the Godzilla as the push rods, and you get rid of all the timing chains that everybody gives me crap about. So I'd love to go to that. But this car will always stay Ford. Let's see here. Hurricane Harper, yeah, dude, she's... Lenny, you have no clue. Like if you were on my Facebook, a lot of y'all are on my Facebook, and I post sometimes a little bit more on my Facebook, in my personal life, obviously. Harper is wide open from the time she's like me. From the time that baby wakes up to the time she goes to bed, she barely watches TV. She plays, but she's wide open. Her mother actually gets pissed off at nighttime and tells me, do not row, that's what she calls it, do not row this baby up. Because she knows when me and Harper get together, we're going to either, I'm going to be tossing her around or tickling her or whatever, and she's just so loud and so freaking out of control that Alex is like, if you get her all hyped up here, it's going to be hard for me to bring her down to get her to go to sleep. She literally talks to her mother until she falls asleep practically. So in the chair, she's just like talking nonstop, and then she will literally stop talking, the passy will fall out, and then she's just asleep. Like she's just out, but she's wide open all day. So yes, she's a hurricane, and it is very difficult. Very difficult to have her at the racetrack. Let's see here. Buy some bargain tires to practice on. Them are bargain tires. Them are John's. He literally has inside wrote on what I have on the outside because I reversed them. So I will continue to buy. When we go through this until I'm actually going fast, I'm gonna just buy tires off of John. So all his trash, let's put it on here. All the trash. So I paid him for these, and I don't want nothing free. I'll continue to buy them. But yeah, I'm not ordering a brand new set of slicks anytime soon. His takeoffs will be plenty for me. Harper looked happy, right? So the video the day before Harold's or the day of Harold's, when we figured out it wouldn't start, if you rewatch that video, Harper was so excited for that car to crank. Like she wanted to get in the passenger seat. I put her in the passenger seat, and then she was like, as soon as like I went to crank it, like she was like excited, and then when the dash turned on and lit up, she was like, and like she was stoked. And then when it wouldn't crank, I did her dirty, man, because then she was mad. You don't see that on camera, but then the car wouldn't crank, and then she was mad. I had to get her out of the car. I had to let her sit there for a few minutes to realize that it's not gonna, that she needs to just get out because it's not gonna crank. It's tore up again, like always. But yeah, she has a blast sitting in there, and she's afraid of the grinder and loud noises. But when the car is running, I mean, like at the racetrack, we put headphones on her. But if she's not scared of the car for some weird reason, like the car does not scare her. But if you take a drill or an impact gun beside her, or the grinder within 8 feet of her, she'll run screaming that she don't like that noise. But the car, for some reason, and if she's inside and I crank the car out here, she's like, ooh, wow. Like that's what she always says to her mom. So she's not scared of that at all. Randy said to walk the track. Yeah, and I've done that with Randy and John. I've done it with both you and John, walk the track. But then when you put me in the seat, I'm second guessing and worrying that I'm not going to know where that finish line is. But I know it'll just come with time, just like anything else. Let's see here. A Ford sponsorship. Yeah, right. Does Ford sponsor anybody in our level of drag racing? I don't even think they do. Let's see here. Check out Tater Racing. Okay, so I'm gonna check out that too, because I don't know if I'm on your channel. There's so many people on here, I don't know if people have channels. Nitro Junkie, I'm not a Ford person. It's kind of weird. Well, I guess I am now, kind of. So I was like hardcore Chevy, hated Fords. And then I was a truck guy. Before all this, I was a truck guy. So 99 to like 2012-ish, 13-ish Silverados on point. And then Silverado went like full, I don't even know what words we're allowed to say on YouTube without getting demonetized. But I don't know what they were thinking with like 16s and up. The trucks just continue to get uglier and uglier and uglier, in my opinion. And then they got bored and put the mirrors on the doors like the Chevy Caprices, and then engineered a plastic cap to fill in where the mirror is supposed to be up here. They've just went completely off the deep end, and the Super Duties are just so freaking gorgeous. The F-150s, I do not like the 99 to 04, 05, they started 04, 05, they started coming around, or 06 or whatever. But then as the years progressed with the Fords trucks, pickup trucks, they started getting better and better and better looking. And so I literally transitioned, and I was like diehard Chevy trucks. when I first built this car, it was all like Duramax, Silverados, all that. But I had a Ford Coyote with a Mercury car, and now I have like completely switched. Where like Ford race car, Ford daily driver, buying Fords for the dealership. I think that's where the money's at. I'm predicting for this year is that the F-150s are where the money's at for my business. So I guess you could say that now I am a Ford only person, and extremely turned off with a lot of the Chevy stuff. But you can't argue that Chevy products are easy and abundance. So all the LS stuff is like tons of it everywhere. Yeah, Harper was so bummed out when it wouldn't start. Hammerback. So I don't know if you just jumped on. We talked about Randy's car earlier. He's predicting that I should have the car in about 2 weeks at least. So it could be 2 weeks or more. But I'm going to say ballpark of 2 to 4 weeks, we should have the car for paint. And then from what conversations I've heard him and John have, they're ready to rock and roll. So like as soon as we bang the paint out, then it can be put together. And how I think we're going to do it is we will probably, right now it's at Fab, which John's put that out on his channel. Jason Braswell has it doing the front end. I think once we get the car back, I'm sure Randy wants it done this way, and I'll tell him that it's probably going to be smartest for us to bang out the shell of the car. Anything we're doing on the shell, all the 2 front ends, let's bang that out, get the paint done, and then let's get this thing out of my shop, send it where Randy and John can start assembling for the most part, unless we have to do any work to the front fenders and fitment issues of the front end. If we have to do any of that, we'll have to bang that out. But we'll bang the paint out so they can get started putting it together, and then we will paint any front end stuff because he wrecked, so he's having to paint some front end stuff. We'll paint that while John and him are putting it together. So I can kind of be taking my time on the front end stuff, and I'll still be done before they get it together probably. But that way we're not like painting everything and then shipping it out. So I don't know. I feel like Randy should be back to the track. I say 2 months or less. That's gonna be me, but I'm not Randy. So I think he has all of his parts. I think he's good to go on all that. I think it's literally just we're waiting to get it back from Fab Work. And then I think he's ready to go, man. I think he's got everything done. So should be less than 2 weeks, I'm going to guess. Hammerback, you are 100% helping. Welcome. That's the reason why I wanted to do this live. That's what I said earlier, is just for anybody that's out of the loop, or because I don't know what y'all want to know. It's like I film a video and then y'all ask a question in the comments. And if I'm doing one every single day, I can answer the question in the next video. But sometimes like stuff just goes unanswered because of, just you're commenting later than the video is filmed. So that's why I wanted to do a live to just kind of let y'all, anything you wanted to ask about anything. And we've talked tonight about paint, this car, everything. First passes, whole 9 yards. Randy does not say a lot at all. You get to know Randy more at the racetrack than you do on John's channel, I guess. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. It's almost 10 o'clock here. I don't know where y'all are at. It's 9:45 here. I'm beat. We're going to edit a video tonight of this work week. I know my work week videos, if you're new to the channel, any video that's stamped with Paper Chasers episode in the bottom corners or anywhere on the thumbnail, that's going to be a work week video. Inside that video, we do painting tips. We do money on how I pay for this. So different ways I'm making money. We do projects, like the one I'm editing tonight has a sick custom color golf cart that we did, but it's also mixed in with an extremely hard hit F-150, 2 F-150s, and I'm actually like $14,000 in both of them, and how I get myself out of it. So the Paper Chaser episodes are small work week segments that I'm not gonna make a whole 20-minute or 10-minute video on. Like, I'm not making every freaking golf cart I paint or every flip truck or something that's interesting on that. So them videos are actually, I know they don't get a lot of views, but the guys that watch them, sometimes there's some really good information snuck in them, because I might run across something at the shop that only needs 2 to 3 minutes to address and to help somebody out with, like to put a pointer out with, and I put them in the Paper Chaser episodes. So because I'm not gonna make a whole video on them, you know, necessarily, and bore people. So if you are a DIY guy and you want to know how to make money, you want to know how to pay for your race car, you want to know how to make your stuff look good, the Paper Chaser episodes are slam full of how to make money flipping cars and how to paint. I mean, I've showed some, the views are really low on the episodes, it's crazy. I have showed some very, very sketchy paint work and pushing the limits of paint, and some crap that you would never think looks good or would look good and turned out good. So for DIY guys, the Paper Chaser episodes, that's where I show some of the shoddiest work that I do, because I don't have nothing to hide. I don't care. I show some of the most terriblest work, and hopefully I show it with intent to build up your confidence. So I show it that if you mess up and you make a mistake like I did in paint, like sometimes I'll show you how it looks like in the sun and how you don't even see the mistake. That way, if you go paint your car or you want to paint your door or something, then you can hopefully learn from my mistakes and miss it. Or if you do make the mistake, you know that it's going to be okay because you've already seen me make that mistakes. And I make a ton of mistakes on the flip cars because we rush them at such a high pace that I'm just sloppy. I'm very sloppy with my paintwork on my flip side. But the dealership side of my business is sloppy compared to the customer side of my business is higher quality. Like when we do Randy's car, that is complete opposite of our dealership work. My quality scale slides. Yeah, pay attention to videos because I put out all kinds of good stuff. All right, we're gonna call that a wrap. I'm gonna go edit a video for y'all and get the F-150s out because I'm exhausted. Today's a half a day, or tomorrow's a half a day for me. So me and Eddie do breakfast in the morning, and then we get off at 11 o'clock. And then we're gonna work on this race car. Rockingham, we will be in Rockingham on Saturday for that no prep race. Sunday, I will be around the house working on the race car. And then next weekend, hopefully me and Randy can get together Saturday for burnouts and lineup class. And then that Sunday, the 19th, we will be back in Fayetteville. So that's going to be the schedule. Dude, hammerback, the flip car paint jobs, they should build your confidence, because if I can turn out that big of crap of work and still sell the car, and the buyer never notices. And it's not like you're screwing somebody over, because when you go to buy a car, you can look over the whole entire car. You can take 2 hours, like whatever you want. And if you're cool with what's there, then you know the quality. And it's not like you're not using products that are going to fail on the customer. You're just like they got trash in them or it has a run in it. Like it's stuff you can clearly see. So if I can turn out that big of crap and people buy it, then you can paint your race car with the same biggest pieces of crap quality and it will look good. Like it'll look good. So that's the whole point of that stuff, is to help y'all out. So, all right, I'm going to end it. And if y'all have any other questions, email me. My email is always in the description for anybody who needs to get out with me. Email is always in the description. Shoot me an email if you need private email one-on-one. And just let me know. So I appreciate everybody jumping on here. And I will catch y'all in the next video. Thanks, y'all.